Today we have another great question from our community. Imagine, you are a masters athlete, 55 plus, and until you found CrossFit, you didn't do too much sports. But since then, your progress went fast up and then steady, slowly building up. The question is, as a late masters, with no prior experience in sports, can you still make real progress in CrossFit? And if you take blood pressure medication, should you adjust your workout routine?
Okay, let's go through the first question first. Can you still make real progress after 55? Short answer, yes. Okay, podcast over. We had and still have multiple people over 55 training. And for example, we had one guy, and when he started and had to do a burpee, so basically go on your belly and stand up, it would take ages. It was a struggle. And within 6 months, he was doing walking lunges, split squats with weight, back squats. So I saw in this specific example, I saw big progress. And that person was over 70. So from not being able to get off the ground, like you have to hold the table, like imagine if that person would fall, you had to hold the table to get up, to doing back squats with weight, doing walking lunges with no prior sports background. So yeah, you can definitely make progress even after 70 years old. So age doesn't stop the progress. Lack of sports experience doesn't stop progress. Your body can adapt at any age. You just need to smartly expose it to physical stress, and it will adapt. I think what a person would have at 20 or a person at 70 called beginner gains, it's the same at 20 or at 70. In that first period, you will see a big difference. Eventually, it will plateau a little bit, but you can still make progress by just workout variation, by making sure you recover enough, by eating enough protein, stuff like that. So beginner gains are real at 20 or at 60 or at 55. So in the beginning year, I would say, I think they will see a very obvious progress in what they're able to do. You've had beginner gains seen at young people as well, right?
And even when you try different sports.
Ah, yeah, true. Yeah, because it's a new stimulus again.
When you try jiu-jitsu, running or anything, the things are happening very fast and you like it and you get addicted to them. That's why it's dangerous. It's a dangerous game to stay there and constantly searching for them.
Yeah, you need to eventually accept that it cannot progress forever. No matter if you started young or if you started old. Of course, we should encourage our children to start at a young age, but it's never too late to see obvious progress that physically will help you have a better quality of life. No matter if you start at 55, 60 or 70, is it better to start earlier? Yeah, the earlier the better, for many reasons. But you can still have many progress. You just can't focus on and get discouraged about that the progress eventually will get slower. This for everybody is the same. I follow this guy, Pitratia. I don't know if you know Pitratia. And in a recent podcast, he was interviewing a lady called Belinda Beck. It's an Australian researcher, and she did something called the Lift More study. And it was a bit on this subject. So what they did was they took all participants, women especially, over 65. All had I can't come to the name, the bone disease that gives you low bone density.
Osteoporosis.
Yeah, so all of them had that. So they had low bone density. None of them had ever lifted weights in their life. So that was also a requirement to enter the study. Some of them were active, like walking and yoga, but nobody lifted weights. So they split them in two groups. One group doing just do what you always did. And then the other group, was the lifting group, and they made them do heavy deadlifts, heavy squats, heavy presses, so real weight. Of course, they teach them the technique, and then they slowly progressed them, and to the point that even some of these ladies that were over 65 were deadlifting their own body weight, so which is quite good. If you can lift your body weight at 65 plus, it's impressive. So, and then afterwards they did a CT scan of the group, and the entire group that lifted weights increased their bone density, all of them, to a certain amount. So, and they had low bone density, they had that condition. So purely from lifting heavy weights, they increased their bone density. So just as an example of, at any age, you can make improvements, even on things that you would say, come on, my bone density, well, I'm going to still do at 65. What change that I'm going to still do? You can make changes. And it's important to lift weight and to do some cardio. The lifting weight, of course, so more bone density, stronger muscles. And if you fall, you might catch the fall by being reactive enough with your foot. By the way, the reason people fall is, of course, because they don't have that reactivity, and reactivity happens by training fast twitch fibers, explosive movement. That would be like when you trip and you still make the adjustment so you don't fall on your face. So that's why it's important to do these explosive moves, to lift these heavy weights, so when things happen or you would fall, you wouldn't break your hip. Because I bet we all know somebody at a certain age. My grandmother, for example, when she was 80, she fell in the bus. She broke her hip, and then the quality of life really went down because she couldn't walk so good anymore. So these are the things that even if you start at 55, 60, 70, as you see in this study, you can still make important changes to your physicality that will come in handy in the couple of decades to come. So we've both heard, maybe here more than in Belgium, because, for example, what you hear a lot is, and I heard that here, is sports is for young people. Probably some of your family members have said the same.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not for me anymore, it's not, I wouldn't feel good. Maybe we need to create as a society more senior classes.
This is what I was about to say. For example, my father is not feeling very comfortable to go into a gym where it's full of machines and only young people.
Yeah.
You know those tank tops, big muscles, or ladies with tight pants, and you are going there, and I know how I see them. I see them as inspiration. I see sometimes, but rarely, some older person inside the gym, and I did tell a few of them that you are an inspiration, and I think more of your age should be here. And then they said that it was a very hard step for them also. But indeed, as a society, we need to include them more, like we are trying with the young people.
We need to get one of those in front of our podcast and talk a little bit about, I didn't work out until that age, but then I set the step and it was hard for me and I got over, and these are the benefits. Because I think we need to encourage our society of older people to get into the gym. It's
a broader subject.
Yeah.
Your peers don't like it when you do that also. They think that you lost your mind. Just imagine you're 70 years old and you want to go to the gym.
Yeah. Well, my mother is 70, she goes, but that's why I said maybe I hear it here more than in Belgium, because my mother is 70, she goes to the gym 3 times a week to do some strength training on the machines, maybe a little bit of cardio, and then she walks 20 to 40 kilometers in a walking club, because we have that in Belgium, where all people in weekend and during the week, they have a site, they set a walking point, and they get there all together, and it's hundreds of people, and then they do a route. And the walk can be in nature, can be from village to village, and then with some points in between where you can have a drink at a cafe with some sandwiches, and then you continue your route. So I hope that eventually this type of things, of course it's our generation and the generation that comes after us, that need to do certain steps to try to encourage this, because it's important. So to get back to the subject of progress. Yeah, I think we heard this one. You don't stop moving because you get old because you stop moving. So there is no limit on fitness, in my opinion. It should be a lifelong thing that you stress your body in a certain physical way. The gym is a way, especially for us living in the city, to do so. People that live on the countryside, they find their cutting the wood and stuff. It is still physical activity. They're in the gym, they just don't realize it. Chopping wood, carrying stuff, wheelbarrow, walking up the hill, cutting the hay. They're physical. But us city slickers, when we go into that 55 plus range, we need to find ways to stay active. And the most easy way is to get into a gym, get a coach that can keep their eye on you, and yeah, do that, I would say, 3-4 times a week. I know some of the young guys listening to our podcast don't even reach 3-4 times a week, but everybody should train 3-4 times a week, do some physical activity for an hour. So when you are, so this is about the 55 plus, try to get consistency. Consistency is important. So your focus, your main question is first, why am I doing this? Because when I hear this question, I'm like hearing in the background maybe a little bit of enthusiasm, a little bit of competitiveness of trying to chase progress PRs. I think an important part should be a question that you should ask to yourself, and that is, why am I in the gym? I hope that you are in the gym when you're 55 plus for longevity purpose, to strengthen your body so you can stay independent, you can do whatever activity you want, you can run behind the grandchildren, you can go on a walk when even some young kids invite you, that you strengthen your body to be better at life. To do that, main important thing will be every decision you make in the gym should be one with the goal of, I will come back tomorrow. I will give you an extreme example. We have chat next week. Ask yourself, if me as a 55 or 60 plus year old does 500 step-ups with weight, will I be able to come back tomorrow? If the answer is, I will be so fucked up for 3 days that I won't be able to come back tomorrow, then 500 step-ups with weight is not a good choice. You need to make another decision on that moment. So examples like this, I need you to make day to day. With technique comes first in mind. I want to come back tomorrow, so knowing a little bit yourself and your limits, like if I do, I don't know, 100 push-ups in a workout, have I done this before? Is that a volume that I can handle? If not, less volume. I want to come back tomorrow. I want to still be able to lift my arms tomorrow. Start the volume small and learn to know your body. Okay, when I do a volume of 150 air squats, I was okay. So this workout also has 150 air squats combined over 5 rounds. I'm probably going to be okay. So make decisions like that. Technique first, think about volume. My general rule for 55 plus would be that you have nothing to prove. Your goal should be consistency. I need to train consistent. Why do I need to train consistent? Because if I push my limits too hard and I get injured, at this age, it takes a long time to recover from injury. So you need to be more conservative in your choices. If there is a workout and the 25-year-old does the full 10 rounds, I would say you should aim for 70% of the volume of what these young kids do. And put your intensity there. Focus more on quality than on volume. A 25-year-old versus a 65-year-old shouldn't be doing the same amount of volume in a Metcon. And the trainer will advise you, but you need to realize it and want to do it. It's make good decisions, leave the ego aside, and know your why very well.
It's really good.
The next question, should we move to we're already at 15 minutes now, but I will try to keep the blood pressure one short, although that question about blood pressure triggers me, maybe not for the reason that you would think. I'm careful to answer a question about blood pressure because I'm not a doctor. One. And the reason why this triggers me is because we face this, and I call it not staying in your lane of expertise, also vice versa. So my level of expertise is I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I have a background in physical education from the university. I did self-research. I went to seminars face-to-face. I tried a lot of things out on myself. And we've been running 2 gyms for a decade now. So this is where my expertise lies. I'm not a doctor. And what we hear a lot is that, a little bit of a rant, that people that hurt themselves, for example, they get a back pain, they go to a doctor and the doctor tells them stuff like, you should stop lifting weights and go swimming. Or they go to a doctor and they get advices about you should not eat carbs, they will make you fat. It's like things not based on their expertise. So also, I would wish doctors would stay in their lane as well, and I will stay in my lane. So you, as a customer of the doctor, at least get a second and maybe even a third opinion. If you have an injury, going to the house doctor for recovery advice on your injury is like going to the butcher and asking for a bread. The family doctor is not specialized in this field. You need a physiotherapist or you need a personal trainer to write your schedule, and the advice will not be go swimming. So, but this is another subject. So, but okay, I will still give an opinion on this. Should I adjust my training if I'm on blood pressure meds? First advice. It's a medical question. If you ask a doctor, see a sports doctor or see a doctor that is specialized in elderly care. But preferably ask a sports doctor, so he can give his opinion from a sports background combined with your blood pressure medication. That's the first. But my opinion, in most cases, you can train safely while being on blood pressure medication, especially if the reason you are on blood pressure medication is because of lifestyle. If it's something genetic, I will not speak out of, but if it's lifestyle based, that's why you got into this situation needing the meds, then yes. I think a lot of people that are on blood pressure medication, they will actually improve their numbers and maybe even take less medication over time if they train consistently, if they lose some weight, if they make some lifestyle changes. But again, this is if you're on blood pressure medication because of lifestyle related issues. Another advice that I would give you is when you train while being on blood pressure meds is during lifting weights and during cardio. Always make sure you're in control. Listen to your body. You should never be pushing to a point where you feel dizzy. Basically, any moment where I see you take a break into the Metcon, I should be able to talk to you in full sentences. So that's the type of control that I would say that you should hold to be safe. Don't push limits. You shouldn't be pushing the limits like a 25-year-old going to maximum heart rate. No, always stay in control. Push, you can be tired, but you should be able to still make full sentences. So that's the general thing that I would say, like stay in control. You have nothing to prove. In the end, you're here for improvement of overall quality of life. It's not a moment to chase ego and try to compete with people half your age. So this is the moment to listen to your body, train smart, stay injury-free, and be consistent, not from week to week, from year to year to year to year to come.
Very cool. I think we can end it here.
Yeah, 19 minutes.
That was it for today. Rodika, thank you for your question, and we hope that the answer will give you some more fuel in your daily workouts. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this one, please give us a 5-star review. It really helps grow the show. Please remember, your questions are fuel to this new series. send them via our email into the show notes. See you soon!